The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. The transportation sector is gearing up for the long weekend, covering the holidays for Undas and the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Here's Laila Pangilinan to tell us more.
The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, is prepared for the influx of passengers this Undas in cooperation with the LTFRB and Land Transportation Office. An estimated 1.6 million passengers are expected to travel over the long weekend.
Sa aming pong pagtaya, magmula October 27 hanggang sa November 6, hindi po bababa sa 1.6 million passengers ang inaasahan natin dadaan sa PITX. Ganun po kadami. Kaya naman talaga mahigting yung ating paghahanda. Hindi lamang Undas ang pinaghahandaan natin ngayon, kundi pati po yung barangay and BSKE election.
Despite the anticipated surge of passengers, PITX said that the terminal will not be too cramped.
Dahil nga napakahaba ng long weekend, nakikita natin na hindi tayo mako-congest like previous occasions. No? Kasi dati, siyempre, nagmamadali lahat. No? Halos lahat gusto makauwi ng at 31, at 30, di ba? Ngayon, since napakahaba ng bakasyon, ang tingin natin may spread out yung mga mag-uuwian sa kanilang probinsya at magluluwasan sa Metro Manila.
As a major transport hub, PITX emphasized safety as a top priority. The terminal is now taking proactive measures to ensure the roadworthiness of PUVs and the well-being of their drivers.
With the help of LTO, nagsasagawa po tayo ng mga random drug test a few weeks ago, no, sa paghahanda rito. In fact, nakakuha tayo doon ng 5 nagpositibo. No? So ito ginagawa natin para panatiliing ligtas yung ating mga paglalakbay.
To prevent the rush, passengers are advised to buy their tickets online. Doing so means avoiding long queues in ticketing booths and ensuring seats, especially if they're traveling down south. The LTFRB also confirmed that they have begun releasing special permits to over 700 buses traveling to northern and southern Luzon for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections and Undas. The LTFRB also extended the validity of the permits and, if necessary, the agency will approve more special permits to prevent stranded passengers. For News 5, Laila Pangilinan, we are One News.
In other news, one expert believes filing diplomatic protest against China remains effective. In an interview with Sa Totoo Lang, security expert Chester Cabalza said such efforts will serve as leverage when the Philippines elevates its complaints to the international community. He also believes that China's aggression will persist as a superpower is envious of Manila's warming ties with Washington. Since 2020, the DFA has filed 465 diplomatic protests against China, 122 of which was filed under the Marcos administration.
Definitely, no, meron na rin tayong diplomatic protest kasi, no, kasi lagi natin ginagawa 'yun. But we think that that's still effective kasi nga nare-record yung ginagawa ng China sa atin, mechanism natin against them, which we can use later on kapag nagreklamo tayo against sa international community. No? For sure, mas magiging intense itong labanan na ito because the mere fact that nakita ng China na nagsiselos actually sila sa ating relationship with the US right now.
More stories coming your way after a quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News. One News now, I'm Denise Tan. We now give you updates on the raging war between Israel and Hamas. Hamas says it has freed 2 Israeli women from among more than 200 taken during a siege of Israel on October 7. Before this, 2 American females were released by the militant group. The freed hostages were identified as Nurit Cooper, 79 years old, and Yocheved Lifshitz, 85 years old. They were kidnapped in Kibbutz Nir, or near the Gaza border, along with their husbands. Their spouses are still being held by Hamas. Israel's military has vowed unrelenting attacks to dismantle Hamas, raising concerns of more casualties. The Palestinian Health Ministry said the Gaza death toll alone has topped 5,000 from 2 weeks of airstrikes. Tel Aviv has been pounding hundreds of targets in Gaza, which is a stronghold of Hamas. But former U.S. President Barack Obama has a word of caution. He said any Israeli military strategy that ignores human cost is meant to backfire. A third convoy of trucks carrying provisions has been allowed inside Gaza. The aid passed through the Rafah border crossing from Egypt. So far, 54 trucks have transported food and other necessities to people trapped in the war-torn strip. Humanitarian deliveries began this weekend after inspections and airstrikes on Gaza had left relief materials stranded in Egypt. The United Nations warned that fuel is not included in the relief packages and that the reserves in Gaza will run out within the next 2 days. Up to 100 Filipinos in Lebanon have already expressed intention of returning to the Philippines. The Philippine Embassy in Beirut earlier called for voluntary repatriation as fighting has spilled over to the southern border of Lebanon. That area is where Hamas supporter Hezbollah is camping. There are over 17,000 Filipinos in Lebanon.
Dahil po lumalala yung sitwasyon, na inactivate na po namin yung crisis management team ng embassy at we began implementing po itong contingency plans.
In sports, swimmers Ernie Gawilan and Ernie Behino bagged the country's first medals in the Asian Para Games in China. Gawilan won bronze in the men's 200-meter individual medley with a time of 2 minutes and 52.82 seconds. In a previous edition of the Games in 2018, Gawilan notched 3 golds in the 200-meter medley, 400-meter freestyle, and 100-meter backstroke events. A few moments later, Behino bagged bronze as well in the men's 100-meter freestyle. He posted a 1 minute and 12.76-second finish to reach the podium. The Asian Para Games will continue until October 28. The much-awaited return of the NBA is here. The new season opens tomorrow with a doubleheader. Tip-off is at 7:30 a.m. Philippine time. Defending champion Denver Nuggets will take on the LA Lakers in a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. Before the game, a ceremony happens where Nugget players will get their championship rings. In the other match, the Golden State Warriors will play the new-look Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant faces his former team, which won 2 NBA titles. Meanwhile, the official debut of number 1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama is also upon us. Wemby and the Spurs will play on Thursday against the Dallas Mavericks. One News Now will be back at 6 p.m. with the day's latest stories. See you then. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News.